All right, hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today's video is Genshin Impact version 4.2 game plan. So this is what I plan to do in Genshin Impact during 4.2, as far as leveling characters up, leveling up weapons, leveling up talents, and of course, the dreaded farming of artifacts. So I'm going to get out of the way for just a second, but before I do, I am going to point out that I'm no longer going to be doing the banner analysis videos, mostly because I feel like players that have access to the media servers and basically spend a whole lot more time than I do understanding the ins and outs of the different characters are more better suited for that type of analysis than I am. So I would rather that not have you look at my guesses as to what to do and just go to the experts. But if you do want to know what I would do as far as building a certain character or recommendations for a banner, you can always ask me. Available during my Twitch streams, which I do twice a week for Genshin Impact. And also, you can just drop a comment in any of my videos and I will probably see them. All right, let's get to the Genshin Impact Kanban board. Now, if you've never seen my Kanban board, think of it as a assembly line where everything starts on the left, backlog, and goes all the way to the right to the done column. Now, the idea behind the Kanban is that this allows me to understand exactly how much I can do on any given version based on what I am normally able to do based on my previous version's track records. So, for example, you can see with the first column with the character levels, I have that set to just 2. So once I have 2 characters I'm looking to build, that's usually the maximum right there. If I want to put a third character in, and that means another row is going to have to take less of a workload so I can get that done. But as you can see, I've got Risley ready to go. I am a little. I think this will be a bit of a challenge for me, not because I have to beat the experimental fields generator enough times to get to the tourbillon device 46 times, but that boss drops the geo uh, gems, whereas I need the cryo gems to level up Risley. So that means in combination with the fact that I don't really have that many Shavada jade fragments, chunks, gemstones, etc., uh, those two combined tell me that I'm either going to need to be lucky and get those from the weekly bosses, or more likely, I'm going to have to use the Dust of Azoth to convert other gemstones over to jade. So this will be interesting because I also have to be mindful of other characters I might be building so I don't convert their gemstones over. So you can also see that I have Farina in the backlog. I don't have a checklist for her right now because as of this video, I have no idea what it's going to take to build her. I have some ideas, I guess, but I also do not have her currently on my account. Thus, you can see the uh, the darker lines going diagonally across that card. That means that card is blocked, and it will get unblocked once I pull Farina. It should be it should almost be a guarantee that I'll do that because I have 200 wishes right now, but we'll see. Until I have her in hand, there's she's not going to be ready to start. I'll probably do Risley first anyway. Okay, moving on to the weapons. So last version, I decided to kind of overload the weapons row, and I went for all the free-to-play weapons that we get from Fontaine, from the blacksmith. Plus, I also did the Wolf Fang. Plus, I also did the Ballad of the Boundless Blue that we got from the event. So I figured this was going to uh, leave this column in a pretty good shape to to be silent for a while. But then the standard banner decided to drop on me not one, but both of the standard pole arms. So you've got the Primordial Jade Winged Spear, you've also got the Skyward Spine. So, what am I going to do with those two weapons? Well, I do not have Xiao, so giving the Primordial Jade Winged Spear to him is not an option. I could give it, but what I'm probably going to do, if I was going to give it to someone I currently have, I'd probably give it to Zhongli, but that would mean that I would need to switch him over from being a maximum shield support to more of a burst support, which would mean I'd need a different artifact set, and I'm not really sure which one works the best yet. I've been looking at some options. I think I have it down to two, but I haven't made a decision yet. For the Skyward Spine, I think it's kind of an odd weapon because you get a passive that gives a big bonus to based on kind of a bonus attack based on your character's attack, which makes it kind of weird because its substat is energy recharge, which means that on one hand, you'd be looking to give it to a support character for the extra energy recharge. The other hand, you'd want to give it to a DPS to get the most of that vacuum blade or whatever. So I was looking at the two characters that I have that currently have the Favonius Lance. Those would be Yunjin and Yao Yao. Kind of get an idea of which one I think would perhaps benefit from going from the Favonius Lance to the Skyward Spine. I will say this, from what I understand, this would be a loss either way because the internet generally prefers the Favonius Lance to the Skyward Spine. But I'm also considering how I play both of those characters. I don't think the Skyward Spine would work well for Yunjin because I tend to put Yunjin onto the field to basically just hit it enough times to get that energy, and then I switch to the character that I want the energy to get to, which is usually Noel, which I would probably go to anyway given that lineup. But that aside, I think that probably wouldn't work out too well for Yunjin. It might work better for Yao Yao because when I put Yao Yao on the field, I basically just activate her skill, activate her burst for maximum bunny power. I forgot what her Yugue's, yes, but maximum Yugue power. So I think that with that, if I had a Skyward Spine instead of Favonius Lance, the advantage that I would get is I would no longer need her to have a crit rate circlet to guarantee that she procs the passive. I wouldn't be as worried about whether she procs the passive or not. So if I switch that over to another circlet, I could get energy recharge on the substats. And as far as the main stat for the circlet, it would either come down to either getting an HP circlet that would add more to her healing power, or an attack circlet, which would add more to the vacuum blade power. But either way, my backlog of crystal ores is relatively tapped out now. So, given that those are both 5-star weapons, I think that's the most that you can ask from me in 4.2. I might be able to squeeze out a third weapon, maybe, but I feel like the only reason I would go for a third weapon is if I spotted a weapon I think would be a make or break for Farina. So, and the on hold is basically everything that I started previously that I didn't finish, and believe me, I have plenty of other things in the backlog if I want to pull them out. So, but for now, this is what I'm working on for weapons. So, Now the talents, this gets a little complicated because I give myself 2 cards that I can do where I have a new character that I get all of their talents up to 6. Plus, I can have 6 cards that bring up an individual talent from either 6 to 7 or 7 to 8, and then 6 more that can be either from 8 to 9 or 9 to crown. So, in this particular case, obviously we have Risley and Farina going from the beginning all to 6. Risley, I already know what he needs because I know. Farina, I don't know, but both of them are going to be blocked until those characters are at least level 70, because until they reach level 70, they cannot get any of their talents to level 6. Um, as for the rest of them, you can see I've kind of marked them off a little bit. I have Kazuha getting all of his skills to 9, Lisa getting all of her skills to 9. Then I also have Shangling and Yunjin getting all their skills to 7. So that is exactly as much as I think I can do. Now the challenge for this, you may notice that at the beginning of each of the tabs, you can see that I put in brackets either an M and a T and an F, or a W and an S. You can see all the T's and the F's. That's because, in particular, Kazuha needs philosophies of diligence. Zhangling needs philosophies of diligence. Yunjin needs philosophies of diligence. And guess what Lisa needs? She needs philosophies of ballad, but that's okay. So basically, Tuesday and Friday for probably a good part of 4.2 is going to be grinding the diligence books in Leeway, which is not a terribly hard it's not terribly hard domain, but these are not books that you can simply get from the battle pass anymore. And unfortunately, same thing's true for ballad. It's always been true for ballad for quite a while. So now Risley, I believe he needs the order books. So those might be easier to get through the battle pass. I don't know for sure what Farina needs. I'm willing to bet that it's going to be justice, and if it is, that's got to be another Tuesday for me. So we'll have to see how that goes. Overall, I don't think this is going to be terribly hard. Then we have added. I've been starting to work on Risley's set, and I've been kind of making a separate set for Fischl. Now, Fischl, it typically uses, when I have her in my overworld, she typically uses a 4-piece Pale Flame, which I think works great for the out overworld. But it doesn't work particularly well for the Spiral Abyss, because then that means Fischl just needs to be on. Pale Flame in general just means that particular character needs to be on field for quite a long period of time. So unless you really want that character on field for that long, probably want to go for another set if you want to use them in Spiral. So I have Golden Troop for her for now. I'm pretty sure that Risley is going to need that set. As far as Farina, it's really got to come down to what her kit looks like, and I'll be testing her out in the trial runs to see what makes sense to me, and I'll be listening to the wise teachings of other people on the internet. Believe me, there's a lot of good resources for people for listening to know exactly how to build different characters. And you can see that I've also have Yaya's Deepwood Memories there as well, although that is, of course, just for the circlet. Again, that'd be switching her either to HP or attack for the circlet, and then giving it a little bit of energy recharge to compensate for the fact that she's no longer going to have that passive that the Favonius Lance. I think if I do those things in combination, giving her the skyward spine and making that change to the artifacts, I think that's going to work. I think that's going to make her a better character in my lineups. But that is kind of how I do things. If you ever want to if you ever want to know more about how to set up a Kanban chart, just like this one, you can always let me know. Let me know in the comments below, or just ask me about it during one of my streams. I'll be happy to help you out. I can even show you this tool that you can set up for yourself, which is 100% free. All you need is an email. But that's going to do it for me for this video. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a like. Also consider subscribing to this channel and or following me on Twitch. As I said before, maybe multiple times, I stream Genshin Impact twice a week. And yeah, that's about it. Leave a comment below. Anything that anything that caught your eye on this, and I'll see you in the next video.